What's going on, everybody? Just Jared coming at you with another video where I'm going to be talking about a topic that I really struggled with when I was first starting out with getting my sample packs out, as well as just being consistent in terms of putting out content on social media and things of that nature. At the beginning, for me, it was really a struggle to be consistent with my content and be able to make things that I could put out every single day and actually plan ahead. I didn't have any structure about my content or how I was producing that content in particular, and same thing with my sample packs. I was just making sounds and making loops without any pure intention of what I was going to do with them. And it wasn't until I started setting particular goals and understanding how I was going to reach those goals that things started happening and I started seeing traction occur. So for me, that one thing in particular that really helped me to achieve those goals was making a weekly schedule for myself in relation to those bigger goals. A lot of times we set goals on the new year and then we don't really pay attention to them after January. You only really look at it for the first couple weeks and then it just kind of falls out of your head and you stop thinking about it. The reality is, if you can keep chipping away at that task every single day, you would actually achieve that goal, but a lot of times you forget about it. So if you can create a weekly schedule that's in relation to that goal that you set at the beginning of the year, you're actually going to achieve that goal as opposed to only doing it for the first month and then forgetting about it. If you actually, again, chip away at it and continue to gnaw at that task every single day, eventually it'll happen. You have to have intention to complete that task with what you're doing on the daily and especially on the weekly. And so with that, the one thing that I wanted to create for everybody was a little weekly schedule guide. As you can see, some really fancy printout here, and it's just a PDF, a free PDF that I'll put down in the description. And it's just going to help you guys to achieve those goals and actually know what you're doing every single week. So this way you can plan to achieve that result that you want as opposed to just spinning your wheels in place. The first page that I have on this is basically a weekly task list. And the first thing on this list is set up anything that you possibly could have to do in the week. Write it all out in terms of necessary tasks, beneficial tasks, and tasks that can wait. So for example, me, being that I have to produce sample packs for people, particularly every month is what I aim for, and I produce content on the daily. Those are things that are my necessary tasks because I have to do them if I want to keep the needle moving and I want to keep pushing forward with what I'm doing. The second set of tasks would be beneficial tasks. And these are tasks that would be good to get done. So for example, me just making beats is something that is beneficial to me, but doesn't necessarily move the needle forward. It's great for making content and things, but sample packs and actually creating sounds and creating the loops is what really pushes the needle for me. And the third thing on this list is tasks that can wait. So something that might be an example is that my desk, all the wiring is really crazy and I really should probably fix that, but it doesn't necessarily need to get done right now. If I have a sample pack that is coming out in a couple weeks, I'm really pushing to get those samples done. So again, that's on my necessary tasks. Every single day, I know that I have to make 5 kick sounds or I have to make a new loop every single day or whatever variable that you're trying to accomplish to achieve that goal. You want to list out those tasks so that you can know how to apply it during the week in your days of the week, which is the next thing. So now to get onto the particular days of the week, I just printed out Monday, for example. What I like to do at the top is give you a little productivity tip as well as your first thing, which is your work tasks, and then your personal tasks. So again, those tasks that you created at the beginning of the week, you should now be assigning them to each day of the week in one of these categories in order of the priority that you need to get them done. So again, for example, if I'm trying to fill a folder with 25 sounds, I'm trying to do that as quickly as possible. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I might put as many hours as possible towards those goals. So in particular, that's going to be on my work tasks. Some personal tasks, though, that I might have on the other hand, are things that I'm trying to do with my family or just things that I'm trying to do with my friends. So maybe I want to go hang out with my friends for a couple of hours and have a good dinner. Maybe you want to go have a date night with your girlfriend or your spouse. Whatever it happens to be. You want to set those things aside ahead of time and not try to plan them out the day that it's happening. Because you won't find time. You have to make time and plan ahead using something like this. The next thing that I have for each day is just a little notes for the day. And it's anything that you might have done for that day. So tasks that you accomplished or anything that you learned. Maybe you watched a new video and you actually want to retain the information that you watched in that video. So write a little note for yourself on what you learned and why you learned it maybe. The next thing that I have on the list is what are you grateful for today? So it's been proven that if you can show appreciation for things that you're grateful for 5 times a week, you can be up to 25% happier. And again, that's just statistically speaking, but the reality is if you can actually show gratitude for other people and show maybe even just support for the community that you're in and give back, you're actually going to see that in reciprocity and it'll make you feel good, literally just to start giving back to people. For me in particular, that's something that's huge to making me feel better is just being able to give back to the community and try to support the people around me in any way that I possibly can. So now the last thing that I have for once you get through your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., schedule is to ask yourself, did you accomplish those necessary tasks that you set at the beginning of the week? Have basically a weekly assessment of what happened. What did you do? Was it good? Was it bad? What moved the needle? Again, I keep using that term because that's what's going to push your business forward. If you're not doing things that are productive, you're just going to be stagnant, and that's not the goal of this. You're trying to create these weekly assignments for yourself, so this way you can, again, achieve those goals that you set at the beginning of the year. And actually, when you get to December next year, you're going to be able to say, wow, I checked that off, instead of, wow, this is another year that I'm setting the exact same goal up again. The next thing that I have is, what can you improve on for this week? So this is in particular if maybe you didn't do so well. What can you improve on? What are things that you maybe slacked on? Maybe you watched too much social media or tried to learn too much and not apply enough of it. The flip side of that coin is that you want to start writing anything that helped you during that week or that you learned during that week that you can apply moving forward. So for example, maybe you learned a new Instagram technique to get you a lot of followers and you want to take a note here so that next week you can look back and say, oh yeah, I remember that. Again, by writing down these things that you're learning, you're just reinforcing them in your brain so that you can recall them later on. And the last little thing that I have is to rate your week 1 through 10. So this way, again, it's just a way to gauge if you're actually doing the things that you wrote on that task list at the beginning of the week and see, again, going into the next week, how did I do this past week and how can I improve on it to maybe make that score go from a 7 to a 10. So maybe you, again, were watching a whole lot of YouTube videos or something or Netflix. You might only rate yourself a 3 or 4 because you only made 10 samples or 10 sounds or whatever. In my case, when I fill up all those folders, I say that I'm getting up to like a 9 and I'm making all of my content daily and I'm doing all of the things that I actually want to do on that task list. Again, a lot of times you're not going to accomplish every single thing, but that's why you're setting them in order of priority. So this way you know that you're always getting the things that are at the top of your priority list done as opposed to just trying to do things at random and not necessarily accomplishing the task that you set out to do at the beginning of the year. Because the reality is, if you want to achieve those results, you have to put in the work to get there. So again, that's just how I was able to schedule my weeks to consistently create sample packs as well as content in order to put out on social media and things of that nature. So in the description, I'll put the free PDF link to all those pages that I was just flipping through. I know the printout that I have was super fancy, but if you really want it, again, it's just down below. It's free. It's just something a little resource for you guys to hopefully help you achieve those goals that you set at the beginning of the year. And tell me if it works down in the comments if you tried it or if you have any tips yourself that helped you achieve those goals. Leave them in the comments below. And again, like, subscribe, and do all those good things for the algorithm. Tell me what you think on the video below, and hopefully I'm just going to continue to make content. That's my goal, is to continue to push out content at least one time every single week. And that's all I really got for you guys today, so peace.